22 jobs, one at a time, crushed. But this series would never be truly complete without pushing it to 26 with the Game Boy Advance jobs. Unfortunately, by the time you get access to the GBA jobs, the game's just over. All that's left are the Interdimensional Rift and the Sealed Temple. That's hardly enough content to enjoy the new exclusive GBA content. So that's right, I'm gonna cheat. The advanced jobs will be unlocked right from the get-go. All of the same challenge rules apply. Immediately changing to the current job, lock it in, then I just have to get the Warriors of the Crystal to Neo Exdeath and smash his numerous faces in to see those sweet, sweet credits. I've got time to talk about Necromancer while I collect and corpsify 1 king and 2 princesses for the party. I'm running from everything until I get to the Wind Shrine. Necromancer's a wizard with notably very high stamina. That's gonna be super important because Necromancers are under a permanent undead effect. This behaves exactly like the Bone Mail. Healing will harm them, drain effects are reversed, and instant death spells will heal them. Unlike the Bone Mail, Phoenix Downs actually work on Necromancer, so that's my one saving grace. You know, when I'm actually allowed to buy them. Tool Shop is conveniently out of stock. I'm all smiles, baby. The undead effect only applies during combat. Outside of combat, I can chug as many potions as I like, and I'm going to. Necromancer will be able to use non-conventional healing methods eventually, but it's gonna take a while to actually get some. Until then, I have to deal with the game Berserker style. Kill enemies before I'm killed, and to do that, I'm gonna need a massive health bar. With the party acquired, I'm starting this grind session outside of Tool. I accumulated some cash and then headed inside. Once again, there are no knives for sale in Tool. I'm stuck with Lena and Ferris's starting daggers, and the other two are forced to fist or bonking with rods, which is garbage. Weaponed up, I moved outside the Wind Shrine. I'm gonna need all the help I can get, so I'm abusing that slurpable pot inside. Necromancer's job command is Dark Arts. This behaves similarly to Blue Magic, except all you have to do is kill a monster, and then you get access to its spell. This is from a very specific list of monsters that are only available in the Merged World. There is absolutely nothing available in Bartz's world, and why would there be? But during that yap session, I grinded myself to the only ability that's not innate to Necromancer, Oath. Let's see what Oath does as I head up the Wind Shrine, calling out a zombie dragon for 365 damage. Are we faced once again with a playthrough of all time? Let's continue testing Oath on Wing Raptor. Skeleton for a lightning spell, neat. Then Ragiforms with Aqua Breath. Okay, Wing Raptor's trashed in 2 hits, and Oath doesn't even use MP. I think I'm gonna be just fine, you guys. I'll be speeding this right along. Future Ghost King Tycoon has given me the deets about the crystals. Little does he know that I'm completely saturated with all the lore. Back to Tool, I'm buying potions, then snagging Zox Canal Key while he's sleep peeping Lena and moving right along into the canal. Spamming Oath it is. For Flare? Oath can drop flares? That's a real problem solver right there, which I'm gonna need as I'm sucked into the vortex. Carlobos paralyzed Bartz, but 3 Ragiform summons destroyed him. I'm tossing Soldier some coins to cross the river Styx as I float into the ship graveyard, right where Necromancer belongs. My original plan was to farm skeletons here for daggers, but it's clear as day I just don't need to. I actually got one on the first skeleton anyways. Oath is costless, spammable, and the randomized effects all deal damage, so Dancer, take some notes. I trashed all of the enemies with various flavors of Oath until Siren showed up. She's trying to suck my soul out? It's been gone since the beginning of the game. Spamming Oath continues to be the dominant strategy on Siren. A silence whiffs, then it's Zombie Dragon, Skeleton, and Ragiforms for unimpressive damage. Ghost Galoof manages to pull through with Flaremancer. Stop, she's already dead. Anything is better than just physically attacking, but Necromancer is clearly fishing for flares. I made my way down to Carwin, stopped up on potions, and grabbed the Frost Rod. Yeah, rod smashing is on the table for Necromancers. I got no reason to dawdle. I'm headed straight up the North Mountain spamming Oath. Ragiforms and Zombie Dragons are one-shots to all enemies still, but even if I low roll, it's a one-shot on one enemy. Magisa darts Len and she's trying to take her away, over my dead body. Magisa tries to zap me, but she doesn't realize just how dead she really is. I use Oath 3 times. Ragiforms, Zombie Dragon, and Ragiforms. The fight's already over. Forza stayed in hiding. He's afraid. Lena's newfound immunity to poison because of her undead status makes rescuing you quick and easy. I'm flying down to Wals, and King Wals is disgusted by the smell. What, it's just a little rotten flesh? What's the big deal? He fled to the Walls Tower. I better head there too. Maybe I can rinse the stink off using the water crystal. Oath spam continues to slaughter anything and everything, which is good, because I could really use some levels. And that guy could use an ambulance. Call another one, but not for me. Garula is instantly hit with Flaremancer for over his maximum health and damage. He's toasted. The Walls Tower sinks, and then Sildra comes back from the dead, briefly, to rescue me. I mean, I did it with my cool necromancer powers. Cross-continental meteor warping, followed by oathing my way to Karnak. Elemental rods are now mine. Or so I thought. I'm thrown in jail, and what is the charge? Try to buy a rod? An overpowered elemental rod? The guards let me out. It's gotta be the smell. Once I'm out, I'm grinding in Karnak as usual. Oath makes this pretty fast as long as Rajiforms comes in to one-shot the Nax with Aqua Breath. Thankfully, Rajiform seems to be the most common pull, but maybe that's just my confirmation bias kicking in. I grinded on Nax to level 15 and then stocked up on Karnak's wares. Finally, some new armor and of course, many elemental rods. Listen, Oath is good, but fishing for flares isn't my style. Been there, done that with Dancer and Gladiator only now too. I will be rod smashing my way through this playthrough. Except in the fire ship, because I kept spamming Oath to get through more economically. May as well, since Rajiforms is still one-shotting everything. It made getting to the engine room a lot easier. Queen Karnak summons up Liquid Flame, and I'll summon up whatever comes out with Oath. Rajiforms first, forcing a form shift and a blaze counter. Okay, that's not good. The next two skeleton pulls are negated by Handform's handiness. Ghost Gloop's pulling through with Flaremancer, which penetrates the elemental resistances. Tornado's turn, which is once again negating zombie dragons and skeletons, but Rajiforms comes out to flip it out, after it healed itself quite a bit with fire too. Back in hand form, Bartz throws out another Flaremancer. Wow, still alive? Fyra hits Lena, but a final skeleton zaps Liquid Flame out of this game and out of my life. Queen Karnak died? That's metal, dude. Oh, she's just resting. But you know who always dies? Yeah, it's Suze! And no doubt that random Karnakian guard. He's just gone. The fire crystal shatters, and Karnak's about to explode, so let's cheese it! I don't want to suffer double, or final death. Elixirs aren't exactly enticing since they'll just damage me, but the main Gauche and Elf Cape are always relevant. Especially relevant when you can't actually heal yourself in battles. Oath continues destroying all trapped chests and the occasional random battle. The Elf Cape and main Gauche are acquired. 25% chance to dodge physicals distributed amongst the team. I've got no need for anything else. Straight out of Karnak before I get blowed up. But there's one little surprise at the exit. Oath rips two Flaremancers and a Rajiforms right away, clearing everything except Ironclaw, who then transforms. He's promptly hit with another Flaremancer, and we're out of here. Necromancer's gonna continue chanting oaths all the way down to the ancient library. Hey, it's just all I can really do. I'm fishing for Flaremancers through the stacks of books. Yeah, let's just run from everything. Ifrit's up first, and he slaps Bartz with a Fyra, and then eats 3 skeletons followed by a Flaremancer. He counters this with Blaze. I get 2 more skeletons out, and then there's 1 more Blaze. Not looking good, boys. More low rolls with skeletons. Wait, where are the Flaremancers? Blaze connects again. Bartz is now dead, and the surviving Necromancers are on their last legs. Lena lands Rajiforms, and it's not enough. Gloof does clutch it with a final Flaremancer, though. That was, very close. Much closer than expected. If I lost, I was just gonna smash a couple of Frost Rods, but Oath is carrying these corpses around on its back. That battle with Ifrit cost me a lot of potions, but it was enough to get through the rest of the library. I've reached the bottom, and is Biblos gonna beat around the book, or get on with it? This start was pretty whack. Biblos slowed Gloof. You just can't see it. Zombie Dragon did 40 damage and caused a protect counter. Then Flaremancer came out for 1200. Then Skeletons start coming out, but Biblos absorbs them. Then he used Wind Slash. Listen, I can't survive many of those. Ferris broke a Fire Rod, which took down Biblos. Mid's found alive, somehow. Then we both return to Karnak, where the only dead thing is Sid's liver. Sid still got some juice left in him, so he fixed up the fire ship. And I'm on my way to sink that fire ship at Crescent Island. Followed by immediately catching Bingus and flying back to the ancient library. Sid in mid, the fire ship is kill. Time to head over to the desert. Rajiforms has clearly been using Aqua Breath this whole time, so it's gotta work on the sandworm, right? Sure would be nice if it did, but the first round of oaths were a bunch of Flaremancers and skeletons hitting the wrong holes. Starting round 2 after my party is basically already wiped out, Rajiforms comes out and connects for over 2,000 damage. Looks like it is indeed Aqua Breath. My party is in a very sorry state though. Quick, throw a Frost Rod. It didn't connect? How? That's put me into an even worse state. Lena's still alive, you got this. Come on, he dodged the second rod? That doesn't even make sense. Losing to Sandworm is a Berserker-only trait. It's definitely not meant to happen to Necromancer. That's just my life as an Oath, I suppose. All I can do is run it back, and I'm gonna immediately resort to smashing Frost Rods. 600 damage is pretty low, but at least it's consistent. My party almost got wiped again from gravity counters and quicksand, but they all pulled through smashing rods. Continuing through the desert, I'm back to spamming Oath, and oh, look who actually decided to show up this time. King Tycoon's hiding out in Goon, but apparently he was moonlighting as a gravedigger, and I just fell in one of his holes. Fortunately for me, it led to a secret underground tunnel, which leads to an airship. Those big brain boys also fell for the classic gravedigger gambit. They got the ship working, and I'm raised out of the ground and into a battle against the feeble Crayclaw. I got rods in a pinch, but I'm taking the Oath instead. Skeletons are pretty cool, but I'm way more interested in the Flaremancer. Crayclaw's obliterated, then the ruins of Goon are obliterated as Ronka's raised into the sky. So I head back, because I can't go that high. The brain boys want the adamantium, for reasons that will only make sense to them. I've returned to Tycoon Meteor, the start of the game, to collect the goods. I was immediately double tapped by Adamantoise. Thank God for the back row. Oath summons Skeleton into double Flaremancer. Pretty strong. Ferris got a little excited and she cracked a Thunder Rod, which didn't kill Adamantoise. Round 2 of Oath was Rajiforms into a Skeleton. Adamantoise is now also killed. The Brain Boys fix up the ship and I can fly higher into the sky, but I am just a humble level 17. I flew slightly north to Black Flame Island to grind to a more appropriate level by doing the only thing that I know how, spamming Oath. As I grind down these black flames, why don't you grind down those like and subscribe buttons? It's the least you could do if you're enjoying the content. If you want to support Backlog Buster further, you can check out the Patreon or channel memberships here on YouTube. Your patronage will unlock over 10 exclusive Premium Buster videos, with more coming every month. A special thank you to my blessed Buster boys, and would you look at that, the grind's over. I may have gone a little too far in some places. Necromancers are sitting pretty at level 34. You know how it is. You get grinding, you turn on a show, you just get into a groove. Also, I can't heal in battles, remember, and Archuavis is going to be a Flaremancer fishing expedition. I flew to Istria and bought 4 pairs of flame rings. At the very least, my necromancers can absorb fire and negate ice attacks now. I'm setting up at the ancient library for my free slurps, now to face the Ronka Ruins defense systems. First up are flamethrowers, which are completely free thanks to my new flame rings. I just spammed Oath and I got through. That was followed with more flamethrowers. Oh, come on, give me all flamethrowers, it would be sick. Nope, here's the rocket launchers and they're opening with double confuse. Lena instantly smashed a Thunder Rod, and then Glue finished him off with Rajiform's Aqua Breath. The final turrets are flamethrowers. The giant, girthy Soul Cannon emerges. Nope. Back to Karnak to restock on rods. Okay, now I'm ready. Ferris instantly smashes a Thunder Rod, but Bartz gets ulted before it goes off. Oh well, the side launchers are already dead. Lena drops Thunder Rod number 2, and then I'm spamming Oath. Hang on, do the Thunder Rods boost Skeleton's Lightning Bolt? Who knows? But I do know that machines have a love-hate relationship with electricity, so I'm fine with the low roll this time around. Lots of Oaths were taken, and the Soul Cannon is still alive, and it unleashes the mighty Wave Cannon. Bartz ate it, but I promptly revived him. There is no way I survive another one of those, so Thunder Rod smashing it is. Over 4,000 damage. Yeah, okay buddy. Soul Cannon status exploded. Necromancer's Ronka Ruins traversal is the same as it's always been. Spam Oath or run all the way to the bottom. Mostly running to reach the bottom to find King Tycoon, and that darned Clapperclaw Archuavis. Archuavis is going to be a long fight, and I can't heal in battle. I thought that I could smash flame rods on myself, but turns out I can't. I can still smack myself around with flame rods, but it's not great healing. No, I'm putting my faith in what I know best, smashing Thunder Rods. Archuavis' form shifts are actually predictable. The first 3 forms are all susceptible to Thunder Rod smashes, 1 rod per form. Once Thunder gets absorbed, it's swapping to Ice. Archuavis dies, then revives itself. Now, for the true battle to start, because this form negates all elemental damage. My only out is Flaremancer from Oath, and that's not it. Neither is that one. Breathwing shows up, and that's 25% of my health taken right off the top. My necromancers countered that with an entire round of 0 damage skeletons. Sick, dude. Double tusk for confuse on those Tycoon sisters. At least they're unarmed, so they're not overly threatening. Rajiform's Aqua Breath finally comes out to do some actual damage. 200 health down, 2300 to go. Maelstrom connects on everybody. This is terrible. I've maxed out my Hopium, and all I can do is pray for Flaremancers. Ooh, Rajiforms for another 200 damage. Only 2100 now. Galoof's confused and paralyzed, but Ferris and Lena have broken free. Bart summons up a zombie dragon that does nothing. Zombie dragon really is the most disappointing pull from Oathman, for real. Ferris eats a tusk, then Lena revives her. Thank God Phoenix Downs still work on necromancers, huh? These confuses are quickly becoming a problem. Archuavis is just forcing my party to slap each other. Worst of all, it's taking away my ability to dice roll for Flaremancers. Another zombie dragon, and Lena dies again. Ooh, another Maelstrom. Cool, bro, I'm already at sub 10 health. Lena's revived and then throws out a skeleton. Somehow, someway, the party has unconfused itself, and I got a Rajiforms. 1900 to go. After what feels like endless skeletons, a Flaremancer appears. Then Archuavis uses lightning and wipes my party. GG, go next. Necromancers are repeating the 3 Thunder Rod, 1 Frost Rod smashing spree to kill it, only for it to revive itself. Is this the work of necromancy? Breathwing comes out once again. Nice. Oath whiffs twice, and then a zombie dragon comes out that actually did some damage. But an early Flaremancer is very promising. I'm already halfway there. Round 2 turns out to be double skeleton, double Rajiforms, working him down slowly. Lena got confused again, but it's not a problem because Ferris flung a Flaremancer which killed Archuavis for good. My eternal life as a humble fisherman in these GBA job challenges. Realistically, Exdeath and I should be best buds. Evil warlocks and necromancers must be adjacently related. Cousin classes? Too bad that the plot dictates that King Tycoon dies and then Galoof leaves. I gotta return to those big brain boys and do the world tour. Imagine if you just had like a dialogue prompt that said, do you want to go with Galoof, yes or no? And if you picked yes, you just skipped these barely an inconvenience bosses. They really are barely an inconvenience, because the Purabolos bomb squad at Wals is destroyed by a couple of rod smashes. 1500 gil is a small price to pay for the convenience of not having to deal with mage mashers and random targeting of Oath. Titan at Karnak's up next. The Oath spam resumes. A lot of skeletons coming out, but there's a Flaremancer and an Earthshaker. Another round of randomized Oath summons and Titan does another Earthshaker. Necromancers and their huge HP bars survive easily. One final meteor fight, the brain-slurping Manticore at Goon. Oath spamming continues, but I know it's nearing its inevitable end. Oh wow, zombie dragons actually doing something for once. Same with my flame rings, they've completely negated frost. I low-rolled my damage with skeletons and Rajiforms, but I high-rolled his damage with another frost. Fishing for Flaremancers and one finally comes out. Manticore is defeated, and the Meteor Convergence hole opens. This world is dead to me. I'm going in! I'm immediately thrown in prison again. Kinda weird that it's happened twice. Stink, don't let me down. Didn't work. Galoof's coming in to break me out and give Guard Gilgamesh an attitude adjustment. Oath 1 and 2 are whiffs, but 3's a Flaremancer, so I'm busted out. I'm gonna perform the monster mash as I cross the big bridge. Safe to say, it was indeed a graveyard smash. Letting it all ride because I will be smashing Gilgamesh with even more oaths. This is one final hurrah for Oath, you'll all see. Too bad it's letting me down. I did get a Flaremancer, but we're back to basic skeletons. Nice, dude. Phase 1 is just not very threatening, but every little cut is gonna add up since I can't heal in battle. Rajiforms comes out, alright, we're getting somewhere. But it's immediately back to skeletons and a couple of cuts from Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is finally in phase 2, and I'm swapping to rod breaks. Haste is no joke, and Gilgamesh will kill me if I sit here and whiff with 100 damage skeletons from Oath. 900 damage from rods is much more acceptable. That's with shell up. 4 smashed elemental rods later and Gilgamesh is getting gone, and so am I after smashing the last remaining Big Birch battles to get barrier blasted to a goal. The only purchases I made this time were high potions, which are going to be super relevant out of combat. Especially relevant right now because I'm doing the underwater cave diving gauntlet. If I run away, that's good for me. If I win, it's even better. A zombified Tyrannosaurus? No match for a master of death such as myself. I'm just gonna Phoenix down him. I'm dodging the desert because you wouldn't want this rotten flesh smelling even worse. Gonna have to make the best possible impression on my little Moogle buddies. The dancing dagger followed by another elf cape and loads of money are my rewards. Kral came and picked me up and deposited me in Ball Castle. The Windrake's dying. What if we just, like, let it die? Then we used our cool necromancy to resurrect him as, like, a cool zombie dragon? No? Fine. I'll go for a hike up Drakenvale. But first, Ball Castle exists within the merged world, which means I can finally get my first dark art. In Castle Ball's basement, the object darts are crushed by a couple of smashed thunder rods. I've learned Hellwind. Let's test it out. Oh, yeah. Now we're cooking with gas. Hellwind is a very strong wind elemental attack, and it can also cause petrify. Dark arts are also like summon magic, in that they ignore reflect and they target all. This truly is shaping up to be a playthrough of all time. Necromancer's damage problems simply dried up, like the shriveled husks of the Dawn Warriors. Dorgan's already 6 feet under, and Kelgar's clock is rapidly ticking down to 0. Cookie Kelb's shops have poison rods. I'm gonna take a couple. I'm undead, so surely this has the same effect as healing me, right? We'll have to see as I traverse Drakenvale. Alright, fine. The Necromancer's undead effect doesn't work on poison, apparently. How disappointing. But it still has some relevance. For you see, Drakenvale also exists within the merged world, and zombie dragons have my next dark art, Evil Mist. Evil Mist is poison elemental, so the poison rods do indeed boost it. This damage is really disgusting for this stage of the game. I snagged the Bone Mail and Hypno Crown on the way out for some magic boostin'. Kind of hilariously, Necromancers can't actually wear the Bone Mail. I guess it is a little redundant. Regardless, I've spammed Hellwind to reach the summit, and am immediately attacked by the Dragon Pod. Hellwind instantly clears the Dragon Flowers and damages the Dragon Pod. Then some bio-boosted Evil Mists come out. Evil Mist is doing 1,000 extra damage thanks to that Poison Rod. Galoof styled on the Dragon Pod with Flaremancer. One more round of Hellwind and Evil Mist destroyed the Dragon Pod. Who cares about not being able to heal when I can just kill everything insanely fast? Dark arts are incredibly MP intensive. When I passed back through Kelb, I sold everything extra and stocked up on ethers and more high potions. I brought the grass back to the Windrake, but he was already dead, so I revived it as a cool zombie dragon! Sage Guido's cave gets sunk, and I'm straight over to the Great Fleet of Surgate. No time to talk to Zaza. I'm napping and then thrashing Gilgamesh. 2 Poison Rod boosted Evil Mist springs out Enkidu, who promptly negates all the damage I just did. But then the other 2 boosted Evil Mists kills Enkidu. Easy come, easy go. One final Evil Mist trashes Gilgamesh, or garbage as I like to call him. Heading straight into the barrier tower and Zaza's homemade submarine. I'm racing all the way to the top, killing everything with Evil Mist. I've got fancy flame rings and insane damage output. I really don't need to grind for reflect rings. I do need this gold hairpin from the trapped chest. The undead red dragon forces me to swap back to Hellwind, but this fight's free. Atomic Ray heals me after all. The gold hairpin drops my MP consumption by 50%. That's twice as many dark arts on one guy. Time to get the heck out of here. Atmos descends from the tip of the antenna, and he's feeling hungry, hombre. Atmos concentrated all 3 of his comets directly onto the space between Lena and Ferris. Weird, but then a corpse showed up out of nowhere. Atmos is kinda weak to poison, which is currently my strongest option anyways. Poison Rod boosted Evil Mists absolutely destroyed Atmos. Galoof's corpse barely got sucked in at all. The antenna blows up, Zaza blows up, and I am once again submarining to Sage Guido's cave. I ran in, did all those stupid puzzles, grabbed the Guardian Branch, and got the heck out of there. I can't get out of that place fast enough because I'm headed to my favorite place, Moor! Moor has a second main gauche, but more importantly, air knives. Hellwind is a wind elemental spell, and with air knives, it's boosted. I just walked right into the forest and straight into the Guardian Tree. Crystals attacking me? It's more likely than you think. Oh, okay. Ow, seriously? My turn. Hellwind! Alright, the Wind Crystal is going to be a little bit of a problem here, but 3 Hellwinds is all it takes for the rest of the crystals to fall. As for the Wind Crystal, I've got 4 Flame Rods with its name on it. Tanking 1 Aeroga is a small price to pay for one of the freest crystals of my life. Exdeath shows up and forces Galoof into a battle to the death. Joke's on him, Galoof's already dead. Ghost Galoof is replaced with Kryl, and I'm racing off to Exdeath's castle to prove Necromancers are cooler than evil warlocks. 3 dead Dawn Warriors later, and I'm inside. No treasures this time. Air Knife Hellwind is all I'm gonna need for the rest of the game. I'm slaughtering everything that comes my way, then checkpoint hopping to refuel my MP. I actually got another rare coral ring drop from a yellow dragon. Seriously, I'm 3 for 3 on these GBA job challenge runs. I guess it kinda helps I'm actually murdering everything instead of running with how brainless these jobs have been. Hellwind spam continues to the Excalibur chest to give Gilgamesh one more beatdown. With Hellwind, of course. Gilgamesh threw out a few minor statuses, but the necromancers largely ignored him. He better get used to Hellwind because Exdeath's banishing him straight down to heck. I truly am racing through this game, and Exdeath's sliding in to meet me. Exdeath starts off by slugging me. Smart, because Doom would fully heal a necromancer. Air Knife boosted Hellwind is 3,000 damage times 4 per combat round for 12,000 damage. I just need like 3 combat rounds to win. And that's exactly what happened. 1 round of Hellwinds came out, then Exdeath slapped Ferris. More Hellwinds, and Exdeath slapped Bartz. A few more Hellwinds, and then he slapped Lena, followed up with a Firaga, which was absorbed by her Flame Ring. A couple of more Hellwinds, and Exdeath keeled over. Necromancers 1, Evil Warlock 0. Yeah, cutscene wins don't count. Into Tycoon Castle, out of Tycoon Castle, onto Boko, then off of Boko. Antlion provided little resistance. 1 Discord versus 3 Hellwinds, and I've won. Pulled out of the hole, Ferris is back in, Guido's flipped, Exdeath's a splinter, and the Ancient Library Exposition is dumped. Legendary weapons, I've already got the best ones. Air Knives and Main Gauches. Let's skedaddle straight into the pyramid. 2 Hellwinds later, and I'm in. I can't use the shields, but I'm taking the detour to grab the trap chests anyways. For you see, the damned have a new dark art for me. Hellwind clears them out instantly, and Drain Touch is mine. Finally, some in-combat healing. Not that I've really needed it, ever. Uniquely, Necromancers are undead, so Drain Touch is always going to work. It's like a double Uno reverse on undead targets or something, whatever. Don't question it. Just run to the top of the pyramid and snag that sweet, sweet second gold hairpin. Tablet 1 is acquired, Bahamut's raised from the dead, and my airship floats on over. Let's go get it. My path is blocked by a naked lady riding some serpents. That's metal, bro. I'm taking the easy out with Melusine. I'm smashing flame rods right off the gate to abuse her starting weakness to fire spells. She's dead before she has a chance to barrier shift. It only cost me 5 fire rods. Lena rejoins the party dead, then becomes undead, and I'm on the airship watching Exdeath slurp up the world, again. Really does just keep happening. Flying back to Boko, heading straight over to Kuza and fishing for an Exdeath soul for yet another dark art. Hellwind takes out Exdeath's soul relatively painlessly, but he's got a pretty beefy health bar. Dark Flare is mine. I'll try it out, but boosted Hellwind seems a lot better. Speaking of boosted, let's drop the tablet and start with the Magus Rod. The rod that boosts all elements, including wind, so it's just a better air knife. Then I'm snagging the Assassin's Dagger, the only other weapon Necromancer can use. Finally, the Flame Lash. The color-coded enemies are released from the void. They will get absolutely thrashed soon enough. But for now, I'm riding Boko to Istri Falls for the Magic Lamp. The Magic Lamp is always relevant in every single playthrough of Final Fantasy V. Back to my airship, I'm flying down south to the Super Secret Phantom Village. I'm headed straight to the armor shop. After selling all my junk, I got 3 pairs of Hermes sandals and 4 Lamia's tiaras before hunting down Bingus and getting the heck out of Phantom. Flying south through the North Desert to start the grind session as usual. I'm honestly not sure if Necromancer's undead status means I'm taking bonus damage from fire and holy attacks because I kinda haven't really been hit with them yet. Regardless, Almagust needs HP to survive, so if I have to grind, you may as well grind right away. Hasted Hellwinds make short work of all of the battles. Necromancer is an unbelievably fast grinder. About 40 minutes later, I'm level 45, and it's time to go. Since I'm in the desert, I did head south into the Phoenix Tower. I'm on the quest for more dark arts. I'm looking for liquid flames that guard the secret staircases. The Phoenix Tower is actually really tall, so I did actually need to use some ethers. I'm kinda shocked too. Liquid flame finally showed up at floor 22. It was promptly hellwinded to death. The dark art, Meltdown, is mine. This is a very strong single target fire attack. Boostable with flame rods and the Magus Rod. I think this will get used exactly 1 time, and you'll never guess on who. I continue to the top of the Phoenix Tower spamming Hellwind. I could use a couple of Reflect Ring drops from Parthenopes, and you know, may as well kill them all anyways. Hiryu sacrifices himself and turns into the Phoenix. That's kinda necromancy adjacent, right? He totally died and came back to life. Unfortunately, I didn't get any Reflect Rings, but I'm done here and moving straight along to the Island Shrine. Gargoyle Guardians number 2 are easily dispatched by double Hellwinds again. Inside the Island Shrine, Hellwind continues to destroy all resistance. No need for treasures, all I care about is the tablet. I swapped from Hermes Sandals to 4 times Flame Rings, and then proceeded to demolish Wendigo. 1 Hellwind equals 3 Frost counters, which are negated by the Flame Ring. Wendigo did not stand a chance. Tablet 2 acquired. The Fork Towers opened, but I took a detour to Phantom for my final upgrades. 1 more pair of Hermes Sandals and black robes. I also grabbed a Fast Pass. Nothing's worth waiting in line for, especially in the summer heat. In the Fork Tower, Bartz and Ferris are going up the physical side, with Lena and Krile up the magic side. Magic's gonna be no problem for the Necromancers, but how's the physical side gonna fare? Hellwind kills the 2 random battles I got instantly, so fine so far. Will I be allowed to use it against the Minotaur? Nope, it's locked out. Good thing I brought many elemental rods. Back row beef kept me alive as I dumped relentless rods onto Minotaur. That guy really can never catch a break. As for Omniscient, well, he's weak to wind damage, so boosted Hellwind destroys him unbelievably quickly. He used Cure and Thundaga before dying. His final flare killed Lena, but that's cool. She likes being dead. Dropping into the catapult to get those big brain boys to add submarine capability to my airship, and I'm using it right away to head to Istri Falls. Gargoyle Guardians set 3 feel the force of Hellwind, and I'm inside the falls, where Hellwind spam continues. The only treasure that I snagged was the Reflect Ring, then it was down to the tablet. Red guy appears and then gets devoured by Leviathan. I'm not afraid. Even without coral rings, this should be a breeze. Get it? Because Hellwinds start coming out, but there's a tidal wave. This is a good opportunity to finally try Drain Touch. Sucking the health straight out of him should be a way to keep up with the damage output, or so I thought. Even with haste, Krile and Ferris ended up pancaked. Fortunately, Lena and Bartz ended up sucking enough HP out to survive. Once they were full, they got back to spamming Hellwinds until Leviathan gave up. Beating Leviathan was totally unnecessary, but I will take that second Reflect Ring. Straight into the Great Sea Trench now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The final Gargoyle Guardians get the Hellwind treatment. Along with every unknown down here. Why run? I can just kill everything. Most of the unknowns die in 1 Hellwind, and it's maximum 2 if those spooky skeletons show up. I paid the high potion tax for having my feeties scorched by the magma, but I'm at the final tablet. The 3 gremlins appear, and they're just standing there, menacingly. Hellwind can petrify, and that's exactly what happened to Nereid in the back. Unfortunately, that caused a revive, which triggered a delta attack, which petrified Ferris. Lena and Bartz follow up with more Hellwinds, and Nereid gets petrified again. Krile gets a turn and finishes off the remaining 2 with a final Hellwind. Necromancers didn't even need to resort to the lamp, but it was always an option. All 4 tablets are collected, so I left the trench and returned to Kuza to drop them off for the remaining legendary weapons. This is purely a formality. I flew down to the newly formed 2nd Great Sea Trench and headed inside for the Gladiator, Oracle, and Cannoneer shards. Necromancer doesn't even unlock until you beat the Sealed Temple, so there's even less content to clear once you get it. You quite literally have just the Interdimensional Rift left. Not to mention, if you actually want to get all of the Dark Arts, you need to go back into the Sealed Temple since the remaining ones are in there. Necromancer is just a job for the true completionists. I have a vested interest in completing this run, so after an item restock, it's back to the start of the game. Then I'm flying into the black hole over Tycoon Castle to take on the Rift. Nothing in the Rift puts up any resistance. Hellwind trashes everything, and on the off chance something absorbs wind, I have Dark Flare, Drain, and Evil Mist. Califisteri pops out of her hidey hole. Big mistake. Huge. Hasted Hellwinds come out, and she chooses to reflect. Dark Arts are unreflectable, so I continued as normal. She's dead. Through the caves, I slaughtered the enemies and snagged the Coral Ring before getting to that very valuable rest site. I could use the MP refresh. Omega status dodged, and here's the library. I stopped, then I equipped Flame Rings and faced off against a panda. Boosted Meltdown hits for over 8,000 damage. Drain and Toad me all you like, there's no way you can keep up. A panda's dead in 3 castings of Meltdown. Necromancers are looking to take the Interdimensional Rift Speed record, so they ran straight into the Dimensional Castle and took on Azomagia. A weakness to poison has been detected, swapping to Poison Rods and Evil Mist to hit him for over 8,000 damage. Yeah, he tried to use Roulette, which hit, but Necromancers absorbed death so it didn't do anything. Then a few more Evil Mists and Azomagia is dead. New save point, I'm resting and back to Air Knives for Catastrophe. The Hellwind spam continues. 1 Earthshaker does come out, but it's easily survived. I had Ferris suck some HP out of Catastrophe just in case, but there was no point. Catastrophe's dead to hasted Hellwind spam before he can do anything else. Big smooch? On me, a dead guy? Kinda gross. Halicarnassus has no chance at all, unless somehow she counters Dark Arts with her focusing power. She wishes. Karururururu, and I use 4 Maiden's Kisses. Now the battle starts for real, and I use Hellwind. Then I continue to use Hellwind until the battle's over. Halicarnassus slap Bartz for like 300 damage. Necromancers are truly disgusting, in more ways than one. I headed straight into Twintania. Bartz and Lena equipped Reflect Rings to counter Mega Flare. Krile and Ferris are on their own. Hellwind spam comes out, and so does Mega Flare counters. Kryl and Ferris tried to survive with the sucking power of Drain Touch, but it just wasn't enough. They succumbed. Then Twintania succumbed to tons of Hellwinds. Necromancer has truly been trashing it. I thought that the other GBA jobs felt like cheating, but this is bordering on God mode. Inside the Crystal Dimension, oh no, Crystal Dragons absorbed wind, what am I gonna do? Oh, look at that, Evil Mist works, moving on. Gilgamesh screams in terror as I walk in, and he immediately leaves. Ooh, look at that, a rare mover encounter. It's Hellwinded to death for 150,000 gil. I guess that's my retirement fund. Necrophobe's about to meet the Necromancer. He's afraid of death, and I'm death incarnate. I choose to continue spamming Hellwind. The first one petrifies 3 barriers, killing them instantly. That's bold talk for a guy with 1 barrier. 2 Hellwinds later and Necrophobe's all alone, naked and afraid. Once he finishes his second monologue, Hellwind starts up again. 8,000 plus damage around. Necrophobe didn't even get an attack off. Gilgamesh is here, says his shtick, and blows up. Necromancer has been a complete joke so far. It's absolutely dominated pretty much every part of the game. I wasn't even wearing my Hermes sandals for Necrophobe, so let's fix that. In a show of respect for vacuum waves, I put on both of my main Goshas. I'll lose a little bit of damage from Hellwind, but damage shouldn't be a problem for Necromancers. It's time to see if Neo Exdeath will give me any resistance. Nobody knows for sure, but I intend to find out. That is after the Dawn Warriors come back from the dead and try to steal credit for beating Exdeath. There's no way around it, this fight's gonna be fast and furious one way or the other, so let's get that train rolling with Hellwind. Exdeath then whacks Kryl with a branch. Kryl's swapping a Drain Touch to suck some MP back while everyone else continues spamming boosted Hellwinds. Oh my god, Necromancers are immune to White Hole? I guess that checks out. In the GBA version, if you're immune to one status, you're immune to both. Hellwind spam continues. Flare hits Kryl for over her max health and damage. She's promptly revived and then back to sucking the maple syrup straight out of Exdeath. Then I use Hellwind, and Exdeath dies. Alright, Phase 2 vibrates onto the scene. Standard practice of opening up 3 lamp ribs for Mega Flare, Tsunami, and Zantetsuken to instantly destroy the lady in the back. Neo Exdeath counters that with Basic Punch. Hellwind resumes. There's a vacuum wave. Really should have sucked some health out, but I opted to keep spamming Hellwind. That was a mistake, because both Lena and Kryl get toasted by Almagust. Thankfully, Almagust is a standard 1600 damage. If holy damage was hitting for double on our undead boys, that would have really sucked. Right before Ferris gets her turn, she's knocked into the pavement with a fist. Nice. Bartz, it's all on you, buddy. Bartz threw a Phoenix down to Lena, and then he tanked a vacuum wave, barely surviving. Okay, still winnable. Maybe not if that Grand Cross is real bad. Looks like a total whiff, you love to see it. The party's back up and Kryl's back down, so let's try that again. All I can do is rely on Drain Touch and its sucking power. I'm slurping up every last drop of Exdeath's fluids. Bart's parried the next vacuum wave. See? You always gotta grab the gauche. Then he sucked some health from the lower part. I'm trying to suck off the bottom part so I don't get atomized by Almagust again. I ended up sucking just enough health to survive the second Almagust. Kryl unfortunately didn't make it. Lena also survived the follow-up whack. God bless the back row. Sucking and slurping resumes. Once everyone was healthy again, I raised Kryl from the dead and sucked my way back up to full HP. I can't believe it. It finally happened. Ferris actually ran out of MP. I know, shocking. The party's healthy once again, so Hellwind and a Dark Flare come out? I had to try it at least one time. Ferris is running on empty, so she's rubbing that lamp, and here's Sildra, back from the dead. She took out the Almagest part. Should be gravy, baby. All I gotta do is clean up the last 2 parts. One more Hellwind takes out the big beefy dude, and before the back part can even get a turn, a final Hellwind takes him out. That's Final Fantasy V, completely killed by the power of the Necromancer. Final Fantasy V using only the Necromancer was completed in a speedy 8 hours, 53 minutes, and 58 seconds. Partly because Necromancer is truly busted, and partly to having a near constant 2x speed up on. Listen, when you've played as much Final Fantasy V as I have, watching these same animations play out over and over again gets really old. Other than that, there isn't really a whole lot to say about Necromancer. The Necromancer only playthrough can be distilled to the following steps. 1. Slice down enemies until you get Oath. 2. Spam Oath until you get to Karnak. 3. Buy elemental rods. 4. Spam elemental rods and Oath until you get to Castle Ball's basement. 5. Kill exactly 1 object dart for Hellwind. 6. Spam Hellwind for the rest of the game. It is truly that simple. Hellwind is an insane ability. It does incredibly high wind damage and has a high chance to petrify. That's why it was just occasionally instantly killing something. Not to mention it's also boosted by air knives available in more. The permanent undead effect sounds terrible, and it was genuinely my biggest concern with Necromancer. Turns out it's a complete non-issue because of how much damage output you have. Necromancers are super tanky in the back row with their massive health bars. The undead effect doesn't even really come into play until bosses can actually survive more than a few combat rounds. Even then, Phoenix Downs still work, and throwing them over and over is a valid strategy to grug mode your way through the game. If you can only survive one hit, you just throw one Phoenix Down and you're back to full health. The only two fights that presented minor problems were Archuavis' final form and Neo Exdeath. Even then, Archuavis' final form was just oath flare fishing until I got a victory on the second attempt. I guess Sandworm was just Rajiforms fishing too, but you know, whatever. Smashing Rods was fine. I knew Neo Exdeath's Almagust was going to be a problem without the ability to heal, but Drain Touch sucks nearly 1,000 health out a turn. A couple of turns of Drain Touches and everyone sucked themselves back to full health while damaging the enemy. Drain rocks in these games. Even spamming Hellwind every battle, I rarely needed to use any ethers to heal MP. The double gold hairpins definitely helped with that one, but checkpoint hopping was just fine. I farmed 200,000 gil for flame rings and I didn't even really need them. They were helpful in a few fights, but Necromancer is such a dominating force that no enemy really stood a chance up until the very end of the game. So sorry if this one turned out kinda lame. Necromancer ended up being a completely brain-dead playthrough. I shambled through the game like a zombie throwing Hellwinds out left and right. I shouldn't be surprised considering Necromancer only unlocks after beating the optional super dungeon. At that point, it had better be really strong. Necromancer is 3 of 4 for the advanced jobs and 25 in total. There's only one job left, the Humble Oracle. It doesn't take clairvoyance to know why I saved this one for last. Thanks for watching Backlog Buster, with a special bonus thank you to my blessed Buster boys. Tune in next time for the dramatic conclusion of the Final Fantasy V Single Job Challenge series.